Welcome to Discipleship Hoops Podcast, where basketball meets purpose. This isn't just about mastering skills on the court, it's about developing the complete athlete. We're here to help young players grow stronger, smarter, and more skilled while deepening their character and strengthening their faith. At Discipleship Hoops, we believe basketball is more than a game. It's a platform for transformation, teaching discipline, teamwork, and resilience. Together, let's empower the next generation of leaders to excel both on and off the court. This is Discipleship Hoops through basketball. What's good, everyone? Welcome to the latest and greatest edition of the Discipleship Hoops Podcast. It's your host, Jimmy, and today we're doing something a little differently for this episode. It's a family affair. I've been doing all I can to bring you great insight, to bring you great information from coaches all across Mississippi, and I was like, I asked coaches to give a parent's perspective and a player's perspective. And you know what? God was like, why don't you bring a parent and a player on? So I was like, hey, there you go. Let's have it. So nothing short of greatness sits to my right. He's not just a man of God. He's not just a father. I consider him a dear and great friend, Mr. Neal Broome. Thank you and your boys, Max and Miles, for coming out today. I appreciate you joining us today.
Look, we are honored to be a part of this. Thank you for the role that you played in their life. Thank you for your friendship through the years, and we're just excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. All right, I paid them to say that. All right, so before we get into it, like I say, I know who you guys are. We spent a lot of time together. You know, you and I, we're 20 plus years in. A lot over the last 2 years, I spent a lot of time just, with you all. But for those that don't know, one by one, start with your dad. Introduce yourself to the World Wide Web.
Yeah. So my name is Neal Broome, and as you can see, I am the parents of twin boys. I'll let them introduce themselves, but Max and Miles here. Been married to Aubrey for the last 20 years. Been a good friend of Coach Lucas here for 20 plus years. He and I have gone back on the hardwood a long time, many wins over the years, many good battles, and I've been on the receiving end of a lot of his great passes and thankfully been able to score a few of those to give him the assist. But by trade, I'm a financial advisor, but outside of the intersection of faith and finances, where my real passion is, near and dear to my heart is also the intersection of faith and hoops, which is where Coach Lucas lives. So excited to be here and excited to be on the podcast.
Yep.
I'm the older one. I love basketball, tennis, and time with my family. But most important is my relationship with Jesus. That's what I value.
All right, and you are which twin?
Max.
Max.
I am Miles Broome, the younger sibling. We go here at Hartfield Academy in 8th grade. We're 14. And some of the things I love is fishing, basketball, and tennis, and spending time with friends and family. But most of all, like I said, we love Jesus and love serving him.
So how do people tell you all apart? Or is it still a guess? Are they still guessing? Yes.
So once you get around us long enough, you'll know.
Yeah.
It's like 50-50 for most people.
Right. So in classroom, they like, hey, Broome, or
We go by Broome a lot.
or they just say Max and whoever speaks up.
We'll usually say Max, and one of us will look up.
After a day of school here, the hair is not perfect, but most people in the morning time, the hair is parted on a different side,
Right.
and that's how they can tell.
Right. All right. So Neal, like you mentioned, our basketball journey together, it's 20 plus years now, and before that, right? Like before we transitioned from where it counts to where we just play for fun and try to stay healthy, right, and keep up with our boys. What was your journey like for basketball?
Yeah, so I played through high school, graduated from Bassfield High School, which, interestingly enough, is a school that no longer exists. Bassfield High School and Prentice High School merged a few years ago to form Jefferson Davis County Jaguars. So that, I guess, would be my alma mater. Signed to play basketball at Southern Miss. And I know one of the things that Coach Luca had asked me about was how that journey at Southern Miss and playing through college, how that helped prepare me, or that journey, how do I use that to help them and lead them in their basketball journey. And I thought about that, and here's the first thing I was going to share with you. One of the things I've tried to be very intentional about, and the boys can speak to whether I've done a good job of this or not, is I don't ever want them to compare their basketball career with their experience in day-to-day with what Dad did.
Right.
They've heard a lot of stories and there's a lot of jokes and we talk about it, but at the end of the day, obviously, here's two identical twins, uniquely designed by God, fearfully and wonderfully made, and He has a unique path for them to follow.
Right.
And I've always felt like if they're looking at my scoring average or my accolades or awards or even my college career instead of their own, then I've failed in that.
Right,
so
right.
I wanted to communicate that. I've said that to them several times, but in a forum like this, just because I want their journey. I want to be a part of that journey. I want to lead. I want to help. Obviously, we'll spend a lot of time talking about what that looks like.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I want their career to be unique, and I want them to blaze their own path.
Thank you for this season's sponsor, Power Financial Group. The mission of Power Financial Group is to glorify God by helping their clients be good managers of the resources entrusted to them. Whether it is investing for the future, planning for retirement, getting out of debt, or becoming a generous giver, their desire is to be your trusted partner on your financial journey. The team at Power Financial Group strives to serve their clients with integrity and excellence. Getting to know them, building a strong relationship with them, and helping them pursue their goals is the top priority. They take seriously their God-given responsibility to faithfully serve those families God entrusted to their care. That's Power Financial Group. They can be reached at 601-790-1180 or send them an email at info@powerfinancialclaims.com. Thank you again, Power Financial Group.
Yeah, that's good. And so let's stay right there for a second. So I'm a guess maybe 8 months ago, maybe a year ago, there was a point where what we call old man basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have heard me talk about it on the podcast, 3-on-3 morning ball. So there was a time where you were playing, right, old man basketball, and then at some point, I really want to say maybe November timeframe, you shifted from not playing old men, but then to bringing them along.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was that like? What went into that where you transitioned, and why did you transition from, okay, my 1 day a week playing 3-on-3, I'm going to do it with all men, to nope, now I'm going to do it, incorporate my boys with it?
Great question. And part of the answer is the older I get and the harder it is to be competitive with our group that we're playing. I realize that my time of being ultra competitive on the basketball court is winding down. Theirs is just beginning.
Right.
My goal all along has been to stay in basketball shape, continue to play until they were able to join us.
Right.
And so the second part of it was them just getting big enough, strong enough, old enough to be able to come out there.
Right.
And as you've now seen, they're playing with us and contributing, and probably just a few short years away from us chasing them around instead of vice versa. So I really wanted to hold out and continue to play basketball. Basketball has been incredibly good to me. I've played it my whole life, but I really wanted to be able to do it with them.
Right.
And it makes it even more special whenever, like this past couple days ago, we played and we're on the same team. So we're playing 3-on-3, and it's me and my boys playing 3 others.
Right.
Funny story, Coach Lucas. This week, in the Wall Street Journal, Con Knipple, there's an article about him, you need to look it up, that he got his start playing against old men when he was 14 years old. His dad and his dad's buddies invited him to start coming to play, and he played with them. He said that's where he learned basketball, because of the screens and the movement and the things that we do that we're trying to teach them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's good. My favorite basketball quote from John Wooden is that basketball doesn't build character, it reveals it. Like, so through your journey from Bassfield to USM to, pick up to 3-on-3 to now playing alongside them, what has your journey through basketball has taught you and that you have passed on to them when it comes to character?
Well, as you well know, sports there's so many things you can take from sports and apply to life.
Right.
And I think through my journey, and the first word that comes to mind is sacrifice, because playing at the college level, especially, what people don't realize, they see the glitz and the glamour of, you're running out of the tunnel, and the band's playing, and it's on TV, and you think of March Madness and all those things. Those boys go through a lot, boys and gals. I mean, the same on the women's side, but it's many times, especially the off season, days are starting at 5:30, 5 o'clock a.m. It's practice, it's class, it's workouts, it's weights, it's study hall, it's travel. I mean, to be a student athlete is an incredible challenge, but it's a great sacrifice. And I've always heard it said that nothing great is ever achieved without sacrifice. So the first thing I tell them is, in order to get something great and to be great, you got to give something up. Sometimes it's a choice between the PlayStation or shooting ball in the backyard. I get on them all the time too about getting in a good book and reading and learning, listening to podcasts. There are ways to make yourself better, but in order to spend time doing that, you got to sacrifice something else. The other thing that I think that really just changed me in playing sports was discipline, where just managing time and prioritizing and working hard and all of the things that come with just having to be disciplined, whether it's your body, your time, your mind, all of those things that go into trying to make yourself, give yourself a chance to be a great athlete. So those are two of the things I probably preach to them a lot is sacrificing something to be great, but also be disciplined in doing the things you need to do to be better.
So what's that like though? Like, so you have it could be a gift and a curse, right? You're in a position to where you're not just a dad, right? But you're also a developer, right? You have the discipline. You're a competitor, right? When you're playing with them, you still have the to win, right? And then also really their coach, right? At home, right? And from the sideline, right? So what's that development process like just internally, and how do you, keep from not getting gray hairs on the ball?
Well, I do have the gray hair, so evidently I'm not winning in that battle. No, great question. And I will say this, first and foremost, I'm a father to them.
Right.
And I feel like I've been very intentional about that aspect of it, because on the basketball court or the tennis court or whatever it is, if I'm even fishing or whatever we're doing, I'm proud of them and I love them. And I want them to know it's not performance based.
Right.
If they score 40 points and we win by 30, we're going to celebrate and we're going to all be excited. But if they have a bad game and we lose, and even if it was one of their faults, I don't love them any less. So as a father, that's what I want them to know, is I love them and I'm proud of them, and it's not performance based. Putting my coach hat on, I mean, there are things, obviously you think of the word accountability. There are things that I share with them, that I do with them, the stuff we may do in the backyard, the stuff we may do, in the gym and other places, that those are just things you have to do to get better. You can choose not to do them, but the penalty, the price you pay is not improving. So yes, it's a juggling act, but I try to make sure that first and foremost, I'm prioritizing my role as their father.
And I want you guys to answer, when you hear that, how does that make you feel? Like, what do you think when you hear that? And while you're thinking about it, I would say, like with, my son that's playing at Colin, I was watching him play, and he came down, he hit he went 4 for 4 from threes. And then his last 3, he was celebrating, right, rah. And while he was celebrating, his man cut back door and got a layup. And the coach took him out, and he didn't see the floor no more. And this was 11, 12 minutes to go in the first half.
So you're celebrating, and now you just got beat on defense.
Right? And but they will learn, or they have learned, the game turns so quickly, especially 3-on-3. It's you could be celebrating the shot. Well, while you celebrating the shot,
You're getting beat.
We're getting beat. So having that discipline part that you were talking about is really key, just for development, right? And that's whether that's on the court or off the court. It's the development. So when you guys hear that, what do you hear?
Well, I would say, when I was talking about having dad as the home trainer and father, having him as a basketball player, obviously he's been in many years of college ball. I mean, he knows everything there is pretty much, and so that's one factor. He can teach us all of his basketball lessons, but also having his father who's there as a leader and teaching us all
Good
these
example for us.
Yep, that's good
teaching us
too.
lessons and different sessions or whatever. Yeah.
What do you think?
It's awesome that he's our basketball coach and he's our dad, so he can coach us basketball, but he's also teaching us manhood and how to be a father.
And so, how are you guys preparing for pressure, right? Because there's, I personally don't like to use the word pressure because, it's like luck, right? For me, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? There's no such thing as luck. We create our own luck, right? And like, there's no pressure when you're prepared, right? So just pressure, just expectations. You walk around here and everyone knows him. Everyone knows he's a great player. And like, do you feel like, I have to live up to that? Or are you okay with, I am who I am, I'm gonna be who I be?
Sometimes I'm like, I want to be the best. I mean, I want to be the one who's just known as like the best basketball player, but same time, that isn't always reality. And sometimes it's just what God has gave us. Like, it's not cannot always be like always super high level or something.
Right.
Be the best that you can be. That's all that matters. No matter how good it is.
Yep.
Be the best that you can be.
Yep. And the important thing, though, I tell kids your age is like, be who you are right now. Right. Allow the results to be the results 5 years from now. Right. But do what you do. If you do everything you say, if you commit, right, if you're disciplined, if you put the work and the sacrifice and all those things in, the results gonna be the results, right? There's a lot of things outside of basketball that are out of our control. Right? We can control, beef, right? We can control balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. Even with that, you're probably gonna miss.
I gonna make them all.
Right.
Well, and what they said, I'm glad to hear, because I have strongly encouraged them, and even more so because they're identical twins. And I mentioned this earlier. Be the best you that you can be.
Exactly right.
God has a unique plan and purpose for Miles. God has a unique plan and purpose for Max. He's got a unique plan and purpose for you and I. And even though they're identical twins and they have common interests, and up until recently even share the same bedroom, they are unique individuals created by God. And I think where expectation and pressure and some of those things go away is when you were striving to be the best you that God created you to be, and leaning into that, whatever that giftedness is.
Exactly right. Yep. So you alluded to it a few minutes ago, but expound on what are some of your, whether it's at home or in the classroom, on the court, like what are some non-negotiables?
Well, they've mentioned it, I'll mention it. We want our home to be centered around Jesus Christ. Our faith is the foundation of everything that we do. So when you think about non-negotiables, faith is the first one. Well, you say, how does faith translate to the basketball court? Well, how you treat people, how you treat referees, how coachable you are, how hard you work, how much you're using your giftedness for God's glory. One that that's a non-negotiable at home, and I believe that translates to certainly life, but it can apply to the court, is just having integrity, doing the right thing, making the right decisions. Excellence is another one. They hear me talk about often. We've recently had a conversation about not just settling for good, striving for greatness. Because I believe that when we figure out who we are in Christ and how God uniquely wired and gifted us, what we need to offer to Him is our best. And so I think at home, the court, the community, whatever we're doing, those are the things that are kind of the Broome non-negotiables.
That's good. So Max and Miles, over the past couple of years, I've watched you grow on the court. Literally grow, right?
Almost as tall as you now.
Yes. So Coach Gilman and I were talking about, man, Max and Miles, they're either going to be 6'9", 230, or they're going to be 6'7", 85.
I was 6'7", 185 when I graduated high school.
It's like, man, we got to get them put protein shakes and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the locker room.
We eat a lot of those at the home.
So we got to just stock it up.
It is not for lack of eating, because every time I walk in that kitchen, they're in there fixing something. A protein smoothie or a peanut butter and jelly.
So over the past couple of years, I watched you all on the court, off the court, and you've had great moments, and then you've had challenging moments, right, throughout this last couple seasons, as you really kind of like what we call big boy basketball. It's graduated from upward. You've moving past. Everyone gets a trophy right now. It's for keeps, right? And so throughout the season, it's a long season, right? Whether you're playing 8th grade or high school, I think we played 35 games this year. So it's a really, really long season. So you have ups and downs. And how have those challenges been for you all? Like, I know it's been tough. So when it comes back to those roots and that foundation, what has that been like? Just getting through 7th grade, now you get through 8th grade, going in summer of your 9th grade year. Like, what are some things that you've learned?
I would say when it's like those really hard times and it just feels like nothing's going your way, that's not like the end. Like, there's always going to be better moments and more opportunities, and you have to just trust God at those times, and He'll get you through it.
Yeah, I constantly keep in mind, if we keep working,
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to be the best no matter what challenges occur.
Yeah.
And if we're not missing shots or we're not making the right passes, then we just got to think, at the end, we put in enough work, and we're going to excel farther than others.
Yeah.
Trust the preparation.
That's right.
Trust the process.
I tell this one all the time because he's got a smooth shot.
Yeah.
All that work you're putting in, that form, all the years you developed that form,
Right.
trust it, let it fly.
Yeah. Like, I remember watching you play, and you got a rebound, you dribbled down the court, and you passed it to where the play was designed for the player to be, but the player wasn't there at the end of it, the turnover, and immediately you like dropped your shoulders in your head, and I was like, man, I need to that's the right play though. It's the right play from a point guard. I loved it, right? Because it was the right play.
Throw it where they should be.
Exactly, right? Right. Right. And then I remember having a conversation, and it was like that's in 7th grade. In 10th grade, that's a bucket. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So don't shy away from making that same pass.
More getting those passes, then it's going to be
Right.
just as you keep going.
Exactly, because the court shrinks and the players become different.
So I'll put you on the spot. We were talking about some of the questions you had to send us ahead of time, and one of the stories was about telling about the kid that when y'all played upward, that the lesson that I gave you back then, and now you're starting to see that it made sense.
So there was this player when we played upward, and he would just take all these. He was there a lot of times, and he would just take all these. Deep threes and bank, make them, and me catch me that, and like try to do it the right way, and airball it, left, right,
Because they were not strong enough.
Right.
Right. Well, Dad said, I said, how is he making all these? And we're not. And Dad said he is like, he's grabbing wrong foot, like yeeting it towards the goal.
Swinging it.
Right.
He probably went, I don't know, 3 for 8 or something, but he made it on. We're like, we can't even hit the goal yet. But we're like actually trying to do it right. He's like, you need to trust that you're doing it right.
Right.
Do not do it like him, because one day he's not going to be able to shoot and fix it.
Right.
And you're doing it right now, which is going to lead to success later on. Fast forward now, me and Max are top shooters on the team. And unless that kid doesn't play basketball anymore and he can't shoot now.
He stepped with the wrong foot and he threw it from his shoulder, but they would be frustrated because he would bank it in from 30 feet.
Right.
I was like, he's not going to
He's
be able
not
to
gonna
shoot
make that,
whenever
yeah.
basketball really means something. And sure enough,
Right.
now he's a baseball player.
All right. So how early did you start instilling that discipline and character and structure and all that in them?
On the sports side, it was not extremely early. Like most families, we tried our hand at rec baseball and upward basketball, swimming. Y'all did swimming a year or two, and I got them some golf lessons and tennis lessons somewhere mixed in there, which they fell in love with tennis.
Right.
But sports, as a dad, this, especially as a basketball dad.
Yep.
When you hear that you're having sons, you start thinking about what could be.
Right.
But I had sat down with enough people who had spoke truth into my life to know that I was going to be supportive of whatever path they chose. I mean, if they chose to play basketball or play the piano, I was going to be all in and be a good dad. But of course, your heart is happy whenever it becomes the sport that you played and love. So it took a little time on the sports side of things for us to narrow down what they wanted to do, what they liked, and then we started really being a little bit more intentional about working on form and teaching fundamentals and things like that. But as far as laying the foundation of discipline and faith in our home, and that was immediate. I mean, from praying together as a family, obviously church attendance. For them, it was kids ministry, it was Sunday school, devotionals, Bible stories. I mean, we really tried from the very beginning to teach them about Jesus and make sure that their foundation was solid and beliefs were in line. So that's, that was more probably, and I'm sure it should be this priority much earlier than when we started working on basketball.
Yep. All right. So what would you say? All right. Neal Broome as a freshman, in high school. Right? And them going into the summer of their freshman year. All right, what's one hard lesson you learned that you hope that they don't have to go through as you did?
Well, my story is so unique. I think I shared it with your team earlier this year.
Thank you to Season 2 sponsor, Dogwood Pediatric Dentistry. At Dogwood Pediatric Dentistry, they go far and beyond providing top-tier dental care in Flowood. They create a warm, fun, and compassionate environment where your child feels safe and valued. Their mission is to partner with parents in nurturing healthy smiles throughout your child's formative years. They are committed to offering state-of-the-art care while ensuring every visit is enjoyable and stress-free. Dogwood Pediatric Dentistry. You can reach them at 601-992-0007 or send them an email, dogwoodpediatricdentistry@gmail.com. Thank you, Dogwood Pediatric Dentistry.
So I'll tell a little bit of it, and then I'll answer your question. My coach came to me after I had only played 1 year of basketball in my life. It was as an 8th grader. I mean, I like to say the first organized basketball game I attended, I played in it. And that was true as an 8th grader. The coach came to me after that 8th grade year and said he wanted to move me to the high school team. And I resisted because I had just played 1 year with my buddies and I enjoyed it. But next thing I know, I'm playing high school basketball as a freshman. And then in game 1, he tells me that I'm starting. I think I shared this story with your team, but I was scared out of my mind. And from that, I mean, my brother still laughed. The first shot I ever took almost went over the backboard. And every time I got the ball, I couldn't get out of my hands quick enough. So I finished with like 11 assists in my first game. So my journey was a little unique because I was thrust into basketball so quickly. And then all of a sudden I found myself playing at a higher level a lot faster than I would thought. For them, you asked the question about maybe I'll word it this way: what will I have done differently? The things that you're doing with them, the things that I'm doing with them, the things that they're getting at school and even in the backyard, I think is better preparing them for when they do step into that next level, call it high school. They will be more fundamentally sound, more prepared. I was kind of learning on the fly and had to learn some lessons in a hurry. So I hope that through my experience, what I've tried to pour into them and teach them will prepare them for when that time comes. They won't be caught off guard by a coach throwing them into a game when they're not ready.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but for whatever reason, maybe it's just more videos out there now. But this has been a crazy year, more than I've ever witnessed. Just fights in basketball, all that, parents fighting referees.
It's all over the internet.
Yeah,
it's like it's thrown out for punching a ref.
It's I mean, even with here at home, like we had an incident that happened. But it's like, again, maybe it's just highlighted more than ever before. Maybe my algorithm was like I put in basketball and it just and development, and it just shows all these different fights and stuff. What do you see the game? Like, what do you all see the game? I have seen that the purity of the game has gone. Right, and people have really truly forgotten that it's a game. You know, and it's just the beauty of it, the purity of it. You know, for me playing up when I got on the basketball court, it was my safe space. You know, or the soccer field, right? When I came up playing soccer, but it was my safe space. And now it's changed, right? You either got to pay to play or get paid to play. It's just not just for the love of the game anymore, right? And so, I mean, anyone can answer, but what do you see the state of basketball? Where would you like it to go, and where do you see it going?
I would like it to go back to like back in the day where like you give it to the post player and he does all his moves and he doesn't have it keep out shoot jumper. And
Right,
I think it's so like people are just doing it now for money, for invested in it.
right,
They really just want like they want the fame, they want money, and they. I mean, I don't even know if they care about winning a ton of games. Maybe winning the championship, but like they're really just doing it for the fame, I would think. And we just need to go back to winning, just to actually feel fulfilled in winning and
right.
going back to the basics how it used to be played.
What do you think?
Well, for me, I see basketball kind of just like, I mean, yes, it's a sport where we can, make shots and stuff. But I see it as a way to work hard, get better, and become more disciplined. And, have fun with my friends and with my dad and these two. Also you can glorify God through playing basketball.
Right.
Just you can share the gospel through it and be kind to your teammates and opposing players. But just to work at it with all your ability and just to glorify God while playing basketball.
That's good. So let me ask you, how do you all balance it though? How do you all say, my friends want to go to party safari, right? But I want to go out and shoot jumpers, right? Or, I'd rather play the video game. I've been at school all day. I know I need to go outside. I mean, you really have zero excuse, right? You have not only do you have a court at your house, but you have 24-hour access to a gym and a weight room and all those things, right? So you really have no excuse. But how do you balance that between friends, fun, and like just staying locked in and staying committed?
I would say most of the time, I know that there's higher competition and that most people are still working ahead of me. I'm like, I can't go sit on video games and eat potato chips for 5 hours and expect to be in shape and good at basketball. So like knowing there's higher competition, it challenges me to work harder and also to just, I guess you said, stay locked in.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. You feel the same way?
Yeah.
So, is he harder on you than your coaches?
I would not say so.
He's a really good coach.
Dad's not the type to yell at you in like the whole practice. Dad's gonna pull you to the side, sub someone in real quick, tell you what you do wrong,
and encourage
tell you how you can fix it, encourage you to.
The biggest encourager that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's a great role model. Yes.
All right. So what's the hardest part about him?
I said when he wakes us up before 6 a.m. to go play volleyball.
To come play with you.
We know it's getting us better, but at that same time, you're like, well, how am I doing this? Like, I could be sleeping in right now.
Now we're gonna tell on her a little bit, but if I'm the encourager in the family, who's the one who gives y'all the hardest love?
Mom.
Mom's competitive too.
She's tough.
Mom gives them those looks from the stands and the sidelines, and of course pep talks on the way home.
Before the game, after
they like riding home with Dad. But I will say too, going back to something I said earlier, a big part of that for me is I'm very probably overly aware of them viewing my career and my success, and I don't want them to ever say Dad is hard on me because we're not as good as him or we didn't accomplish what he accomplished. So I'm overly sensitive about that, but I'm also an encourager by nature. You know that. So.
Yeah. So when Tristan was coming up, through high school and the college recruiting process, like I'm a trainer and I hired a trainer for him because it didn't, right?
Yeah.
It didn't, but I mean, it paid off, right? It worked out for him. So, I used to tell him, he used to get mad because as a senior, I was like, what separates you? What makes you different? right? You're a 6'3" shooting guard. I can go to Walmart and there's a 6'3" shooting guard getting boogies out the parking lot that I can find, right? So what separates you from that, right? Everyone can put the ball in the basket nowadays, right? What makes you uniquely different? All right, so what makes you all, even though you're the same as twins, what makes you uniquely different? What's your individual skills that you think can push you to the next level? And what's your individual skill can push you to the next level?
I would definitely say I'm not
He's just the greatest shooter. He's a better shooter than me, but I can make passes that most people can't, and I see the floor very, very well.
and so I kind of play like as a team. Like my teammates are as valuable as I am, and I just like passing it and hitting the other man and hitting this man for a bunch of threes. So that's kind of
Coach Lucas's heart just swelled up
Just
hearing
like-
that.
Yes,
'cause
we're gonna put that on the wall.
Yeah.
My teammates.
yeah,
That quote you just said, I'm gonna put that on the wall.
he's a younger version of
yes.
this man right here.
Yes. I love there's something about as your dad turns and cuts without looking at
Don't
me,
even
and
have to
I
look.
throw the ball over somebody's ear and he just sticks his hand.
I put my hand. If it's a bounce pass, I know
Yeah.
it's coming. Just I cut, the ball's there.
It's like y'all
Yes.
two are like built-in partners.
Yeah, right. Yep. So just all right. So, as kids your age, okay, if you had to if you were sitting in front of a group of kids your age, what would your message to them be about what it takes to just become not just a great young man of character, right, and faith and discipline, but a good basketball player? What would your message to that group be?
I would probably say do everything with integrity, even if you're like kind of what I was saying earlier. You know you should be doing something different, but you're doing the easy things, the things that get you nowhere. Do what will actually get you somewhere. I would tell them, basketball wise, you're not gonna want to drive up to the gym at, I don't know, 8 in the morning. You're gonna want to sleep in, get up, play video games, watch TV.
Right.
But it's the things, if you want to be better, you have to put in the work. And I just say have integrity and put in work. And
Let's stay right there for a second. What does integrity mean? Like define that in your own.
I would say doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I would kind of just what he said, but just hard work is so important. You can do all things. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But you can do things, but you can't do them 100%.
Right. Right.
I would say do everything with a purpose, everything to get better, and do it like 100%. I say they quote 1% better every day.
Yeah. Yep. I use that all the time. Get
Y'all
1%.
are making this man happy. Right?
Yes. All right. So Neal, when it's all said and done and they're grown and gone and they're sitting in your chair, all right, and their sons are here. What do you want them to say about the legacy that you have instilled?
Great question. Number one is I want them to know how much I love them and how proud I am of them, regardless of performance, and I tell them too, you're going to make mistakes in life.
Right.
But I want to be an encourager, a leader, and someone who helps prepare them for whatever life throws their way.
Right.
And the biggest part of that, and we've talked about it, we all share this common belief, is if I have pointed them to Jesus in every way, with my words, my actions, the things they see me do, the things they hear me say, the decisions I make, then I will have left the legacy that I desire to. They will, if they're men of integrity that love the Lord, want to do the right thing, and they're prepared for life, I'll sit back in my rocking chair and sip on my sweet tea and feel like I've done the best I could do.
Yeah, that's good. And if you honor the game, I tell you all, if you honor this game, like the game will take you far. Right? Like me honoring the game, as a 19-year-old kid in Germany, has propelled me to be where I am right now today. Right? Because I always did it not always. I'm not gonna say that. It's not absolute. In the best I could, I honored the game with like just respect, with character, with integrity, all the time. And I like to joke and say I've been to more countries because of basketball than states.
Well, I didn't say this earlier. You asked about my basketball journey, but truly, I mean, basketball changed my life in every way.
Yeah. Yep.
No doubt it kept me out of a lot of trouble,
Right.
probably for the first 22 years of my life, because I was so obsessed with the game, and I spent my Friday nights and my Saturday nights, and when I was in college, and I was not out doing things a lot of college students are doing.
Right.
I wanted to take care of my body. I wanted to take care of my mind, because I wanted to be the best basketball player I could be.
Right.
Like you. I mean, I've played basketball in prisons against inmates. I've played in other countries and mission trips.
Yep.
It's amazing what God has done in my life using basketball as the platform. And he's doing that right now through you.
Yeah, it is. I can't remember who we were playing 3-on-3 with. But he was like, "Why y'all put me on the young guy?" And I'm like, "I'm older than everyone out here." But to your point, just taking care of, it'll take care of you. We take care of you.
Yeah. It's a great game.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I introduced them to golf and tennis was because, along with basketball, to me, those are the sports that you really can play later in life.
Yep.
They didn't really love golf, but they're playing tennis. But I just told them, I said, I'm 47.
Right.
You're a little older than I am, but we're still playing basketball. And you're not out there getting a tackle football game up or a fast pitch baseball game.
Right.
But you can still play basketball and, of course, a couple of those other sports.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put you on the spot, and
Okay.
then I'm going to put you two on the spot. All right. As a parent, and has been through, the journey, right? What would your, I don't want to say it, what would your message to parents be? Sitting from being a dad from the sideline, being a parent from the sideline, but also on the floor with your son. Like, what message or advice would you give to parents about just patience, right?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm afraid that what I've seen, many parents are living out their passions or their interests through their kids.
Right.
And because of that, they're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure.
Right.
I've also seen, and I can give you a story, I won't call any names, but I've seen kids burn out because of the parents putting lots of pressure. And I think that comes from a place of, I don't know. There's a lot of directions I could go with that, but we were actually standing in this very gym one night, and I heard a mother say, "I am so sick of baseball. We are ready for a baseball season to be over."
Right.
And she said, "My son doesn't even like baseball." And I heard her say this, and I said, "Well, why doesn't he quit?" She goes, "We've put way too much time and money in it for him to quit now."
Right. Yeah.
And this was the parent driving the kid to play baseball, and he didn't even want to.
Right,
So I say all that to say, if I'm speaking to parents, number one, I would say be careful about making these athletic competitions the focal point of your entire existence.
Right.
Because I think the minute that moves into number one in your life and replaces your Lord and Savior and your faith, problems are going to arise from that.
Right.
Number two, I would say be careful about burning the kids out with the amount that's on the schedule and with the things you're saying to them and the pressure you're putting on them because of the game.
Right.
And then number three is kind of where I started is I think if we can just take a step back and let them live out their God-given purpose and path, and lead and encourage and support and love and be patient, I think we can then relax and know that it's not our responsibility to make them NBA players or Major League Baseball players, but it is our responsibility to love them well, be patient with them, encourage them, teach them, lead them, but do it within I'd say a biblical worldview.
Yeah, that's true. And most importantly, in my opinion, just be present.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
Be there.
Yeah, just be present. And a lot of times being present doesn't mean you have to say something.
Yeah.
No,
Sometimes what they need after a game is a hug from mom or dad and a quiet ride home.
That's right. Yeah. Chick-fil-A sandwich and
they're happy. They're happy. I learned that the hard way, early on in some of their games. I guess it was baseball. the game didn't matter at all. What mattered is what the snacks were after the game,
yes.
and the kids would run you over to get to the snack line. I'm like, I think I focused
Yeah.
on the wrong
Yeah.
thing here.
Yep. Okay, so as we get ready to close, all right, you ready? All right, so there's only one right answer. One question, only one right answer for all three of you. All right. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
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 Is that a question? You think that?
I
Yes.
want the guy that takes the winning shot, not that passes to a teammate for the winning
For the winning shot.
And I say that John Paxson, Steve Kerr, but that was probably off of a triple team.
Right,
whenever
right,
Jordan drove.
right, yeah. All right. Anything else y'all want to add before we close out? Anyway.
Could you give us, let's do some advice and all the young viewers watching?
Yes. Absolutely. Great question. The interviewer getting interviewed. My advice would be number one, prayer.
Hmm.
All right. Prayer works. All right.
Mhm.
And never be afraid to go to God about anything, right, and everything, because physically you may feel alone, but internally you're never alone.
Hmm.
Right. You always have someone that you can talk to, and don't ever allow the game, whatever game it is, tennis, baseball, basketball, to take you out of that praying mindset and that what you're built on and what you're grounded. That's number one. All right, always pray. And then number two, so as a coach, from a coaching perspective, once season starts, it's no longer my job to prepare you to get ready.
Hazing the blonde.
Exactly. Exactly. Once the season starts, I'm not finna take you over on the side and teach you how to dribble with your left hand.
Mhm.
All right, that stuff you have to already come with. And if you come with that stuff already, then as a coach, I'll put you in a position for you to be successful. Right. So never stop working. But then also, most importantly, to your dad's point, if basketball is not just your thing, then don't play. Don't just, advocate for yourself and be like, I just want to play with the old men on 3-on-3. I really don't want to have to play. And be honest. Be honest about it. Be honest with yourself. And be honest to your parents about your feelings and your thoughts always. All right. And that's it. Most importantly, just talk. Communicate. That's how we say in basketball. Always communicate. Sometimes over communicate. Right.
It's weird walking on court and it's just running back and down, just silent except the ball drilling.
Yeah.
You want to hear all the people.
But the old man 3-on-3 league, y'all hear a lot of talking.
Yes.
Yes. And lastly, you don't have to be in the gym to work on your game. You can lay in your bed and work on your jump shot. I'm not saying dribble a basketball in the house unless you have a silent ball.
We have one nowadays.
We like the sound of a basketball bouncing in our house, so we're good.
Yep,
He
but
does. Mom doesn't.
Yep. Never use that you don't have to use that as an excuse. Well, I can't get to the gym. You can always run. You have a neighborhood, you can run up and down the street a couple times. Never stop working. All right.
We appreciate you.
Yes.
This was fun, and thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for what you're doing here and with my boys, but also thank you for what you're doing for the kingdom.
Yes, absolutely.
Making a difference.
Yes. Yep. That's it. Just trying to my little piece. Trying to do my part in my little piece.
That's all we're called.
Be strong and courageous and just go.
Do the best you can with what you have, where you are.
Exactly. All right. Well, appreciate it.
And that wraps up another episode of the Discipleship Hoops Podcast. If today's conversation added value to you, do me a favor. Like it, subscribe to the channel, and share this episode with a coach, a parent, or athlete who needs to hear it. We're building something bigger than basketball here. We're building leaders. If you or your business would like to sponsor an upcoming episode and partner with us in impacting the next generation, visit our website at www.jimmyLLucas.com or send us a direct message. We love to connect. Until next time, keep raising the standard, keep leading with purpose, and remember, the game is the platform, leadership is the mission. Believe, build, ball.